We need a peaceful party this year. Amanda, no family drama. Just us, Mark and his kids at the cabin. My mother's text glowed on my phone. The subtle exclusion hit harder than outright rejection. Apparently, I was the family drama they wanted to avoid. I'm Amanda Mitchell, 34, the black sheep of my family. For the past decade, I'd been judged for choosing social work over the family law firm my younger brother Mark joined. Every holiday, every gathering was a reminder of my disappointing career. The cabin needs tranquility this year, her next text read. You understand, right? The cabin. Our family's mountain retreat. The place where I'd spent every holiday since birth. The same cabin my grandfather had left to all of us, though my parents seemed to have conveniently forgotten that detail. Perfect, I typed back. Enjoy your peaceful holiday. Her reply was immediate. I'm glad you understand, dear. Maybe next year. What they didn't know was that I'd spent the past year working with a local foster care organization, helping children find temporary homes during the holidays. Kids aged 5 to 15 who had never experienced a real party, or even a cozy home in winter, were about to get one. I called my colleague Maria. Remember that party we hoped for? I think I found it. The cabin, you mean? Maria's voice was cautious but hopeful. I'm not just sure. I'm certain. My name's on the deed, remember? Let's give these kids a party they'll never forget. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind, coordinating donations, planning activities, enlisting volunteers. Local businesses rallied once they heard about the foster kids' holiday retreat. My parents' quest for a quiet, drama-free holiday had inadvertently sparked something beautiful. By party eve, 25 children who'd never celebrated had a magical holiday waiting for them. I arrived early, transforming the cabin with festive decorations. Each bedroom was cheerful, the main room dominated by a massive party tree. Activity stations, cookie decorating, crafts, a hot chocolate bar. All ready. Even Mrs. Sullivan, the cabin's housekeeper, was in on it. My phone buzzed. Another text from my mother. We'll be arriving tomorrow afternoon. I've arranged for the housekeeper to prepare everything. I smiled. They were about to see the cabin transformed into something far more meaningful than their peaceful retreat. As I finished the final touches, the first buses arrived. Children poured out, eyes wide in wonder. Is this really all for us? A small girl named Sophie asked, clutching her worn backpack. Yes, sweetheart. This is your party home, I said, watching her face light up with pure joy. By nightfall, the cabin buzzed with laughter and excitement. Cookies were frosted and sprinkled. Children sat by the fire listening to stories, crafts scattered around. The magic of the holiday had filled the space my parents had deemed too precious for family drama. As I tucked the youngest kids into bed, helping them hang stockings on their door handles, I realized, sometimes being excluded from one family means you get to create an even bigger one. The next day, my parents arrived, expecting their quiet holiday. Instead, they were met with a flurry of activity. 2 small buses, volunteers, and the joyful chaos of children experiencing magic for the first time. Amanda, my mother's voice trembled with controlled anger. What is the meaning of this? I stepped into the entryway, surrounded by decorations and laughter. Welcome to our foster kids' holiday retreat. Since you wanted a peaceful holiday without me, I decided to put the cabin to better use. You had no right, my father started. Actually, I did. Grandfather left this cabin to all of us. Check the deed if you forgot. Before they could respond, Mrs. Sullivan appeared with a tray of hot chocolate. Good. You're here. The children are about to start their carol performance. Come in. The children, dressed in donated festive outfits, rushed past, carrying handmade decorations. Maria raised her hands as conductor, and soon heartfelt, slightly off-key carols filled the room. Sophie, who had practiced for days, stepped forward for her solo of Silent Night. Her small, clear voice carried across the room, touching even my mother's carefully guarded heart. These children, I explained quietly, have never had a real party. Most haven't even had a proper holiday meal. When you chose peace over your daughter, I gave them the kind of holiday I always had here as a child. My father's stern expression softened as he watched a boy carefully hang an ornament on the tree. This was Tommy, who had spent the last 3 holidays in different foster homes. The local community had rallied once they learned about these kids. For the first time, my family saw the true meaning of a holiday: joy, generosity, and love. Everyone wanted to contribute. Presents lined the tree for each child. Dinner was being prepared by volunteer chefs. And tomorrow morning they'd experience their first real holiday morning in the cabin. My brother Mark, unusually quiet until now, finally spoke. This is what you do in your job. Help kids like these. This is exactly what I do, Mark, I said. The career you all love to criticize. I help children find hope, even if it's just for one holiday party. My mother dabbed at her eyes with a tissue from her designer purse. But where will we stay? All the rooms must. Oh, there's plenty of room, I assured her. The children are sharing rooms, camping style. They're actually excited. Most have never had a sleepover. Your rooms are still available if you want to stay and see what a real holiday miracle looks like. Meanwhile, my niece and nephew had joined the children, learning the hand motions to Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Genuine laughter, something I hadn't heard in years, filled the room. Mrs. Sullivan appeared again with a list. Amanda, the kids want to know if they can start the cookie decorating contest now, and Tommy's asking about the storytelling session. I looked at my family, still awkwardly standing in their designer winter wear. Well, would you like to join us? Fair warning, it might not be as peaceful as you planned, but I guarantee it will be more meaningful. The silence that followed felt endless. Then Sophie, still in her oversized sweater, walked over and took my mother's hand. Would you like to help me decorate cookies? I've never done it before and Amanda says you're really good at it. Something shifted in my mother's expression. Without a word, she slipped off her expensive coat, handed it to my father, and let the little girl lead her to the cookie decorating station. What followed was transformative. My meticulously groomed mother, who usually fretted about flour on her clothes, spent hours helping children decorate cookies. My father, who hadn't told a story since I was little, found himself surrounded by eager listeners as he revived his old talent for storytelling. Mark's teenagers put down their phones voluntarily, a holiday miracle in itself, teaching the younger kids to make paper snowflakes and starting a friendly snowman building competition outside. Mark pulled me aside. I'm sorry, Amanda, he said quietly. We've been wrong about your choices. Seeing what you do, how you help these kids, it's incredible. As evening approached, the cabin smelled of holiday dinner. Local restaurants had donated a feast and volunteers helped serve it. My mother, still wearing the apron from cookie decorating, watched as children who rarely had enough to eat went back for seconds. They're so polite, she whispered. Our own children take so much for granted. After dinner, the children gathered around the massive holiday tree. Each had a stocking and presents, some for the first time ever. Tommy, the quiet boy my father had noticed earlier, opened a warm winter coat. It's just like yours, he said, eyes shining. My father immediately took off his expensive coat and handed it to him. Want to learn how to build a fire? He asked. My father taught me when I was your age. As midnight approached, the younger children were tucked into bed while the older ones watched holiday movies in the den. My mother found me in the kitchen, prepping breakfast for the next morning. Amanda, she said, her voice thick with emotion. I don't know what to say. We've been so wrong, so focused on our idea of success that we couldn't see the importance of what you do. It's not about being right or wrong, Mom, I replied, measuring pancake mix. Peace isn't avoiding people or situations we label dramatic. Sometimes it's creating joy where there was none. Party morning dawned bright and clear. Children squealed as they discovered stockings full of gifts. My parents, who hadn't spent a holiday morning in pajamas in decades, sat on the floor helping the little ones. By mid-morning, a local news crew arrived. Someone had tipped them off. My mother, still in silk pajamas and her apron, gave an impromptu interview about the importance of community and giving back. My father, with Tommy by his side, announced he would start a foundation to support foster children's education. Watching my family genuinely interact with these children, not for show or social media, I realized that the best response to exclusion is inclusion. My parents had wanted a quiet holiday, but in trying to avoid drama, they would have missed the greatest blessing of all. Mark approached me, watching Sophie teach our mother a clapping game. You know, he said, I've been thinking. The law firm could do more pro bono work for foster families. Maybe you could help us set that up. By the time the children left, not a dry eye remained. My mother hugged each one, collecting drawings and promises to visit. My father exchanged numbers with Tommy's foster parents, already discussing mentorship possibilities. Next year, my mother said as the buses pulled away. We'll do this again, but this time we'll plan it together, all of us. I smiled, remembering her text from weeks ago about wanting a peaceful holiday. Sometimes peace isn't found in silence or exclusion. It's found in the chaos of children's laughter, in the mess of cookie decorating, and in opening your heart to those who need it most. That party taught my family that true peace comes not from avoiding drama, but from creating joy. And sometimes the best response to being excluded is building something so beautiful that others can't help but want to be part of it.